Welcome to the channel. My name is Jodie Knight. You can find me over on eToro. My live portfolio there is going to be linked in the description down below. But other than that, in this video, we're going to talk about the daily chart, the weekly chart, the short and long-term, long-dated options interest. We'll talk a little bit about my price targets, where I'm going to add, where I'm going to trim. As well as that, we'll look at the general market, what data came out, what data is coming out, and if there's any good Tesla news that we're interested in. Let's just jump straight into it. Welcome to Tesla Tuesday. Not too much Tesla news, but I did want to point out that I've had a lot of growth on my eToro portfolio over the weekend. Just want to thank all my new copiers and anyone that's joined onto this channel just to keep up with my core positions. I like to give a good overview of the positions that I'm giving the biggest weighting in my portfolio, just so everyone can see what I'm doing, my targets, what I'm thinking on them, what's going to impact them. That said, a few of my core positions, I think SoFi, Tesla, they're getting quite long in the tooth. I have trimmed them down to kind of a more moderate 10% weighting. I know that doesn't sound moderate, but for me, it's quite a moderate weighting. I don't think there's going to be too much of a pullback before Christmas. Happy to be wrong on that one, though, because I can jiggle some stuff around. But also, starting at the end of December, on the 1st of January, I will be starting my account deposits back up. That's mainly because I think there's going to be a downturn kind of maybe January, February in the market, and I want to be able to add some extra capital in there without taking away from my current positions, because as I've trimmed from my positions that are getting a bit extended, I've put them into the assets that haven't yet moved, so I'm low on free flow cash at the moment, so I will need to inject some of that. There's no obligation to match me on that. eToro will rebalance the portfolios. They didn't used to do that, so that's a nice perk that they've got now. So you can just leave the copy as is. Just let me do my deposits. Other than that, though, let's take a look at the price action. What we've got here, we're hitting our head on this kind of 400 level. That's a very big psychological level as well, so I'm not surprised we're seeing some pullback here. We could really get to the next fib. I mean, I'd love to get to 420 before year end. That would just be, but I think that would be retail just wants to really see that number, and then we kind of fade off. I imagine we'll come back down to 350 at some point. I don't know if we'll be there very long. But below that, we have the small gap here that didn't quite fill at 320. I would love the price to get back down to 320. I would buy lots and lots of Tesla shares. The RSI have a little bit of a bearish divergence coming here. For some reason, it doesn't always auto-populate these, so I have to put them on myself. So if we don't get any more upside, that bearish divergence is really going to put downward pressure on price, which is not really surprising given what the chart's telling us. MACDX Plus looks good though. There's not really any warning bells on there. Flow is, good, strong, but kind of getting a little bit worn out. But important to note that flow can stay at these levels for a long time. Volume started to pick up a little bit when we had this pump. We're still getting like little nuggets of really good Tesla news. The tailwinds for this one are just crazy. Price targets for Tesla. I mentioned that this year's target was 350. We're over that, so I wasn't going to add while we're over that number. But I think if we get back down to 350, I will probably add more. That said, my targets for next year, currently I'm looking at a range of $500 to $700 by year end. Now, there's a lot Tesla is doing that's coming out in 2025. So it's been hard to nail in a number in my mind and on my models without getting more concrete data on what the affordable car is going to be, how it's going to ramp up, the Tesla semis, the Megapack factories, all that stuff. FSD is going to go bananas. The models for Tesla are just joke numbers, even over the next few years. So I think Tesla's going to end up being increased in weighting next year as I fade out of my crypto positions. Another point I forgot to say about my account is at some point next year there will be a substantial deposit as I rotate some profits from my crypto accounts, which get drained down. I don't bag hold crypto. I rotate it into my more stable accounts. Take that with a pinch of salt though, because I'm quite a volatile trader. It's the nature of the beast. It's how I like things. Let's look at the weekly. I think that's what we're on. Okay, weekly. I mean, gorgeous. We go blue sky on this one. I'm going to be very happy. Price can move quite quickly. Blue sky, a lot of price discovery, a lot of psychology in it, but also there's no resistance, so people are more happy to hold and not kind of take profits out. But we look at the options market and we'll see what they're thinking, because that'll give us a better guide on, where the market makers are going to step in and where people are going to start taking more profits. But the indicators, this looks fine. I mean, we're a little hot, but Tesla is not afraid of going hot on the RSI, and it can maintain those levels for a long time. MACDX Plus, not really any alarm bells there. The flow looks better on here, but it's been green for a long time. This has been a heck of a rally. Just from the low there, ballpark, 179% return. So people can't really moan about Tesla now, can they? So this week's options interest for Tesla, we can see 400 bang on the head is resistance, and that's kept us down yesterday. Not surprised. That's going to be a beast. And also 420, like we talked about on the charts, the humor with Tesla is a level. The Tesla Q car that's such a good joke if they do that name. But 420, people looking at that as resistance as well. So support 365. I would love to get back down there and buy some shares while the market makers are gobbling that up. I was gonna wait till 350, but looking at that support level, you can see the volume here. It's not the biggest support, but I would buy some of that. Sometimes you can make a plan, but sometimes you can change it too. So remember that. That said, though, the week after, we're looking at. I'd be shocked if Tesla got back down to 300, but might sell my dogs for that. 400 still is going to be the beast, so I think 400 is probably going to be where we settle at for the year, because the volume here is just monster. Let's have a look for January. Still a big chunk there. I do think Tesla's going to have quite a nice Q1. They're in the news so much, and then people are probably going to be quite aggressive with their purchasing of Tesla vehicles whilst the tax credits are available. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's go January 2026. I wish they'd put the dates on here a bit bigger or in a brighter colour, because I can't let me read them. So yeah, by the end of 2026, looks like a comfortable target should be $500. I don't see any problem with Tesla getting $500. Do you? So this is the kind of price range I'm expecting for Tesla. If we do have a large pullback, I might take some leaps on this, depending on the prices and stuff. We'll see. I just want to push it all the way out to January 2027 now, see what the market's cooking with long term. Although a lot of people argue that 2 years isn't long term. So if we don't get 500 by end of year next year, then people do have with options and derivatives, it's better to be overly generous with your time frames. When you come up to the more short dated ones, you'll see more risk taking, but the ones that are super far out tend to be aiming under it, because they can get burned very quickly. Well, second the short ones, but balls of steel for options traders. Okay, there's not too much news for Tesla specifically. There's a lot of political stuff going on and all the Doge stuff, so Elon's popping up and down in the news constantly. But I did want to point out some stuff that a lot of analysts and companies are raising price targets on there, so they're kind of chasing price as it moves up. They will kind of comment on why they think it's going to change. Interesting though, everything they say is going to change price and has adjusted their view has been stuff that we've been aware of for quite a while. So that's why it's really important to come up with your own plan for trading a stock and not to follow these analysts. They're good if you want to build a good round picture. You can find some good bearish points to nitpick. And if you can invalidate their negative thesis, they should give you a bit of confidence as well. But you can sometimes find a genuine concern, but most of these guys are just price chasers. So I wouldn't advise a strategy based on analyst ratings. However, there was also the rumor going around about the Tesla Model Q. We already know that the affordable car is due out early 2025. It's probably going to be the Cybercab with a wheel, I would imagine. That'd be the easiest for them to ramp up, but maybe not. But what a great name. This would be such an Elon name if it was true. Obviously, he takes a bit of beef with the people that short Tesla, and the short ticker for Tesla is Tesla Q. So that would be right good. Macro data then, obviously yesterday we didn't really have much exciting to talk about anyway. Consumer inflation expectations, I did say that's going to be kind of pointless because it's just an expectation, but it was, came in line with forecast. Ticked up a little bit, but that's kind of what we're seeing across the board. Today though, we've already got the business optimism index. I did say that one was probably going to look pretty good, especially up to Christmas. Non-farm payrolls expected to come down. Non-farm productivity is expected to come down. These are the final numbers, by the way. Unit labour cost expected to come down. This one, would really like to see this one come down as forecast. Market's probably not going to like that one if it gets too high. Red Book year over year, again, that's been decent. Not much else good for today. Tomorrow, though, we do have the core inflation data and CPI stuff. So we could get more of a stabilizing day today, but I would expect to slide a little bit more, probably a bounce in the morning and then a fade again, just because this data is going to be really key to the big picture of the stock market, and a lot of people will de-risk into these events. That said, things can get crazy out there. We had some really big dips on some key assets, so there might be some opportunity to buy some stuff as well. That's us all done and dusted for another Tesla Tuesday wrap-up. If you enjoyed this content, give the video a like, share it with your mum, your nan, your dog, your dad, whoever, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.